right. So good afternoon, Miss Body.
Good afternoon.
So today, we will be going through your tri-weekly 2 data. And first, though, I wanted to share some exciting news with you to kind of commend you on a fabulous job you did on our last instructional cycle. So from tri-weekly 1, I kind of pulled the two data tables. Tri-weekly 1, I know we talked a lot about 6 EEA and kind of some of the hurdles that the kids were having. We talked about reteaching. You went back in, and now we're looking at tri-weekly 2 data. And I could tell the day you ran the data that it was a totally different story because you were super excited.
I was.
Super excited. So I just want to commend you for the hard work that you put in between those 2 cycles. And of course, the results, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. You and those kids rocked out for tri-weekly 2. I also still have pulled up, and I'm gonna switch the camera for a quick second. Have pulled up your tri-weekly 1 data versus your tri-weekly 2 data. So even when we drill down and we look at individual student data, then we see just a significant growth from one assessment to the next on that. So again, hold on 1 second. Okay, so again, kudos to you and your kids on that. So today we're going to shift gears and talk about your tri-weekly 2 data. We're still looking at 6 point EEA, which is expressions and equations. So we want to look at that and then go ahead and drill down to determine what our next steps are going to be. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you to conduct your portion of the data presentation.
Okay, so after I went back and did my actual data analysis, I noticed that in 6-1, I only had one student, which was 4%, that were below basics, going between a 0 and 50%. Between 51 and 74%, I had 5 students. Then my on track students from 75 to 84%, there were 6, and there were 13 who actually mastered scoring 85% or higher. For 6-2, I still have 13 that are below basic, unfortunately. But I now have 11 that are approaching, 2 that are on track, and then 4 that actually mastered it. And actually in 6-2, there was 1 student that made 100. And in 6-1, there were 4 students that actually made 100.
Awesome.
6-3, there were 6 below basic, 13 approaching, 2 for on track, and 4 mastered. And for 6-4, only 8 students scored below basic. Another 8 are approaching, 5 are on track, and 7 actually mastered the content. And so after I went through and looked at the item analysis, the focus here was mainly on 6EEA4. A lot of the misconceptions stem from them omitting the calculation of all the terms inside the parentheses. So they would go back and they would multiply what was on the outside by the first term in the parentheses, but not the second. So they're actually not distributing it all the way through. And my plan is to drill small group stations and do extra practice for homework.
Okay. Okay. So, so let's look at that part for just a second. As I looked through and analyzed your data for myself, I totally agree with you on the 6.EEA4. Once I looked at your data, and I'll share with you just kind of your reports from Mastery Connect. Since we were looking at the same overall standard, I did a comparison from tri-weekly 1 to tri-weekly 2. And as you said, from both of those, 6.EEA4 was the one that still kind of stuck out between the 2 tri-weeklies. we had some significant growth with the rest of the standards. So that was the one that was clear that the students are still struggling a little bit with mastery on there. So let's talk about what what did students need to know in order to master that particular standard. And since that's one that we're looking at from across two tri-weeklies, I'm gonna actually chart it up here just so that we'll have in the back of our minds as we move forward with your reteaching, or where we're gonna put it to spiral, that we're just focusing on those particular gaps.
Okay.